All right, so let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a dilemma that, probably keeps a lot of you marketers up at night. On one hand, you've got the huge promise of WhatsApp with its absolutely incredible engagement rates. And then on the other, you've got the good old reliable workhorse, email. So the big question is that sky-high read rate on WhatsApp actually worth the cost? Let's find out.
Okay, so let's start with the core problem here, what we're calling the visibility gap. And I mean, just think about it for a second. Your typical email campaign, you're lucky if you get a 20% open rate. That means for every 10 emails you send out, 8 of them are basically just shouting into the void. They're invisible. Now compare that to WhatsApp, where the read rates are just staggering. We're talking 90%. That massive difference, that gap in who even sees your message, well, that's why we're even having this conversation.
So when you look at a number like 90%, the choice seems totally obvious, doesn't it? It feels like you've just been handed a marketing superpower. So switching to a hybrid WhatsApp sequence, it has to be a complete no-brainer, right? Well, that's the big question we're going to unpack. And trust me, the answer is not nearly as simple as it looks.
But hold on. Before we get totally seduced by the shiny new thing, let's give the old champion its due. I mean, there's a reason email has been the absolute workhorse of digital marketing for decades, right? So let's really break down the case for sticking with an email-only strategy.
Yeah, there's a very good reason email has dominated for so long. First off, it's incredibly cost-efficient. We're talking pennies, which means you can scale up massively. The automation tools are also super powerful. You can build these really complex behavior-triggered sequences without breaking a sweat. Plus, you get to send rich, beautifully formatted content with images and all that good stuff. And maybe the biggest thing? It's the professional standard. It's just expected, especially in B2B or more formal customer communications.
But, and it's a big but, we all know the weaknesses, don't we? We've all felt this pain. You've got that low visibility we just talked about, plus the constant war against spam filters and the dreaded promotions tab. It all leads to this thing called inbox blindness, where your carefully crafted message just gets lost in a sea of digital noise. And because email is, asynchronous, the feedback loop is so slow. By the time someone gets around to replying, that initial spark of interest, it could be totally gone.
And it's exactly those weaknesses that bring us to the challenger, the hybrid WhatsApp boost. The whole idea here is actually pretty simple. You use WhatsApp to attack email's single biggest problem, visibility, and to grab someone's attention at that perfect critical moment.
So check out how this works. The logic is so simple, but it's really powerful. This isn't about ditching email. It's about making email smarter. So, step 1, you send your initial email. Step 2, you wait. But if you get nothing back, just crickets, that's when you trigger the WhatsApp message. It's like a perfectly timed, targeted tap on the shoulder to re-engage a lead that, let's face it, you probably would have lost for good.
And the strengths of this approach? They're huge. I mean, first, boom, your visibility problem is instantly solved. That 90% read rate, remember? And those push notifications, they create this incredible sense of immediacy. What might have been a week-long sales cycle can literally become a same-day conversation. You're basically rescuing leads from the email graveyard. But for me, the real game changer is that it opens the door for a real two-way conversation. You can build actual rapport, which feels so much more personal than just another automated email.
Okay, this all sounds pretty fantastic, doesn't it? Almost a little too good to be true. So you have to ask yourself, what's the catch? Because there's always a catch. And yep, here are the catches. First up, the cost. It's in a totally different league. You're not paying a tiny fraction of a cent per message anymore. You're paying a premium price per conversation. Then you've got the compliance issue, which is a straight-up minefield. You need explicit, provable opt-ins, and the penalties if you mess up are no joke. On top of that, it's technically more complex to set up. But honestly, the biggest risk is the human one. You are stepping into someone's personal space, and if you get it wrong, it can feel super intrusive and backfire big time. And this quote really just nails the whole issue. If the communication is not valuable, timely, and contextually appropriate, it can be perceived as invasive and damage brand reputation. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. What you send has to be genuinely valuable and perfectly timed. Anything less just feels,
well, creepy. It feels invasive. And when that happens, you don't just lose a lead. You've actively created a negative feeling about your brand. The stakes are so much higher.
Okay, so this brings us to the real turning point here. It's time to move beyond the numbers that feel good, the open rates, the read rates, what we call vanity metrics. We need to focus on what actually moves the needle for the business. We need to talk about the real bottom line. And that means we need to talk about a metric called return on acquisition, or ROA.
So what exactly is return on acquisition? Well, it's a metric that tells you straight up how profitable it is to get a new customer. The logic is really simple. You just compare the total value a customer brings to your business over their entire lifetime, that's their LTV, to what it actually costs you to acquire them in the first place, that's your CPA. This is the framework that lets us cut through the noise and make a genuinely smart business decision.
And this, right here, is where the whole vanity metric idea really hits home. Let's just run a quick scenario. Imagine your email-only sequence costs you $1 per lead, and it converts at 2%. Okay, simple math, your cost per acquisition, your CPA, is $50. Now, let's say the hybrid sequence costs 4 times more, so $4 a lead. To get that exact same $50 CPA, your conversion rate can't just be a little better. It has to be 4 times better. You need to hit an 8% conversion rate just to break even. And let me tell you, that is a very, very high bar to clear. So now that we're looking at it through this ROA framework, it becomes crystal clear that there's no single winner here. The myth that switching to WhatsApp is some kind of slam dunk, no-brainer decision, it's busted. The truth is, the best strategy is completely conditional. It all depends on your specific business. So the big question is, which strategy is right for you? Well, the hybrid model really shines when you're selling high-ticket services or products where you can afford a higher cost to acquire a customer. It's also a total powerhouse in markets where WhatsApp is just how people communicate. Think Latin America or India. And it's great for time-sensitive offers. On the flip side, if you're dealing with low-margin products, a long and formal B2B sales cycle, or you just have limited tech and financial resources, the raw cost efficiency of email only is probably still your smartest play.
And this really brings us to the final takeaway, the thing I want you to really think about. This whole debate, email versus WhatsApp, it's just a symptom of a much bigger question that all of us in business need to be asking ourselves. Are you measuring the vanity metrics that make you feel good, the likes, the open rates, or are you focused on the business metrics that actually drive real sustainable growth, like return on acquisition? Because answering that question honestly, that's what separates the good from the truly great. Thanks for digging into this with us.